got a few jobs to do today. Not really got any planting or anything else to do, but there are some bits. So I've got a list of jobs. Peas, we need to sort those out because the pigeons keep attacking them. Parsnips, well, I'll show you the problem with the parsnips when we get to it. The same with the spinach. Have a look at the strawberries and just give those a bit of a weed through. We'll get some of our nettles in the fruit cage and put those in to make some liquid food for our plants, and we want to sow some salad. So let's crack on, get on with the peas. So the problem we've been having with the peas is they're doing all right actually. I think some of these ones down here, there are some around that I think are ready for picking. Let's have a look at this one. Not grown very tall, but still quite small, but get that out. A few little peas in there. We only harvest these for eating at the plot. Never actually take them home. I think frozen peas are much better than actually if you're going to cook them. But for eating at the plot, absolutely gorgeous. But the problem we got here is that the pigeons come down, land on here, and as you can see, that all this light is just like eaten away, and they're like attacking the peas, which is stopping any new shoots coming up. So we're going to get some mesh and see if we can sort these out. So all I'm going to do is I've got some of these ties and some of this mesh. It's just got to be enough to actually keep them off. So I've got some of these Velcro ties. I'm just going to put two of those ties together. Put that round there, and then get that round here. That's on one side. Let's just do the other. Get that through there. Get the other tie threaded through. I love these Velcro ties because they're really easy to use and they come apart nice and easy. And there we go. And that should mean that we can just flip it up to actually get to the peas if we want to, but it should be enough to actually stop the pigeons getting in there. So I'm going to put one on the other side here as well, and then I've got another one to do down at the end there. Now this is our parsnip bed. Chuck that over there, out of the way. And you'll see the problem that we've got here. And the problem is I planted some rows of parsnips here, one here, one here, one here, one there, and one there. But parsnips take ages to germinate sometimes, and in that time, literally all the weeds have come up. Now what I normally do, which I didn't do, which I should have done on this bed, is before I plant in a particular bed, I've got an empty bed like over here, what I'll do is I'll give it a good watering a few weeks beforehand to try and get all these the weed seeds to germinate, and then you can just hoe them off. So we're now faced with the fact that when they first came up, it was really hard to know which was a parsnip, which was weeds, because all the leaves, they all look the same. But now they've come up, I can see that we've got the parsnips here because they've got nice frilly leaves. So now it's a job for me to now go through and thin these out, and also take out all the weed seeds. Now I had thought that actually if we couldn't do this and it disturbs the parsnips too much, what I might do is actually just hoe the whole lot down and start again. But I'm hoping that if I'm careful, I should be able to get the weeds out without disturbing too many of the parsnips. And we do need to thin the parsnips anyway, so that is our job. A bit fiddly, but let's see how we get on. So there we go, that's not a bad job, I don't think. There's a few gaps in there. What we'll do is give them a good water now to actually make sure that the soil's all around the roots. And then we'll see how they do. And where we've got a few, if we've got a few gaps, it's not too bad. We'll put some other seed in. So parsnip bed done. We'll leave that uncovered for now, so we'll come back and water it in a minute. Now the other thing I need to do is just thin these carrots out a bit, because there's quite, it's going to get a good little root on them already. So we're just trying to thin these out a touch, so that trying to pick the smaller ones without disturbing the roots on the other ones too much. Otherwise we'll just end up with lots of small carrots and not big ones. Now, one important thing is, if you're doing this, is once you can smell that lovely carrot. Smell that lovely carrot, but so can the carrot root fly. So when you are doing this, it's a good idea to actually make sure that you get rid of all these as far away as possible from your carrots, because you are letting off that carrot scent. And those carrot root fly can actually smell that from a long, long way off. Now it's not too bad here because we're inside the brassica cage and we've got like a net on it. But it's a good idea after you've thinned carrots, or you've been messing around with carrots, is to actually get the some really fine mesh like this sort of Enviro mesh over the top of them, because they will be smelling of carrot, and the carrot root fly will actually come along and it will smell those, and it will lay its eggs at the base of the plants. And then what you'll find is when you come to harvest your carrots, is that there will be little like black strata inside the carrot, and that's where the carrot fly as a root fly has actually laid its eggs, and the larvae have gone down into the carrot and actually eaten part of the carrot. Now they are still edible, they're just not, they don't look as nice, and it also can make them less easy to, well, they certainly won't store as well if you want to store them over winter. As I say, it can just cause them to sort of not be very pleasant to look at, and sometimes if it's really bad it can make the carrot uneatable. But normally, if it's just a little bit on there, you can just cut around it and it's fine. Depends how badly it's been eaten by the maggots. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just thin these a little bit, and I will do, just to give them a bit more space and room. And what I'll do again is later on is we will come along later on in the season when they've grown a little bit more, and we will thin them again. So we'll start, at the moment we're just pulling off these little tiny, we're just pulling out because I've just sown these far too densely when I put these in. So we're just going to give those a little, all the ones that we're leaving in, a little bit more room to grow. And then what we'll do is later on in the season is we'll come along, and when the carrots are starting to develop, we'll pull out some small little carrots which we can eat, and we will then leave the other ones on to grow into, hopefully, big long carrots. And there we go, that's them thinned out, and we'll carry on thinning them out as they grow on. This, gonna give it to the worms. There you go, lovely worms. Have some carrots, full of flies. Right, next thing on the list is the strawberry bed, or this one. And the reason we're coming in here is because we've got potatoes growing in here. Let's get the netting off. Now originally we had this potato plant down here growing. And I was quite happy with that, just to carry on growing. But I don't want these potatoes. Got little potatoes on it. But this is not where the potatoes are growing, so we're going to have that up. And that's what a potato plant looks like at this time of year. Nice little potatoes growing. That seems a bit of a waste because, as I say, they're perfectly viable potatoes, but they're not. Technically, they're a weed, because a weed is anything that's growing where you don't want it to. And in this instance, nice little potatoes on there. Now that does mean that I'm pulling this out, that does mean there's going to be more potatoes in here, so those potatoes at some point will grow again. But it just means that I can keep the strawberry bed nice and clean. There's a few nice little strawberries growing in there. Again, there's another potato plant over here. This is what happens when you use refreshed potato compost and it still has a few odd little bits of potato in it. Because when we were filling these beds up, we actually used some of last year's potato compost, bucket potato compost, and just had refreshed it with some chicken manure and other bits and pieces, and mixed it in with some other compost. Again, more potatoes. A few other weeds in here that we need to get out. Some couch grass. Oh, another potato plant. How many is that? 6 now? I think when there was 1, I was quite happy to leave it in there, but the problem is the potatoes will just grow up over the top of everything else and shield strawberries from all the goodness of the sun, and they'll just be in shade because the potatoes will just outgrow them, just outcompete them. You can see all these are just developing loads of runners at the moment. There's a bit of it's a sort of wild, let's get that out, wild buttercup in there. Oh, and there I can see another couple of small potato plants. So how many is that we've dug out now? 8 potato plants I think we've dug out so far. So everybody's keeping account. Which just goes to show that actually, I mean, there wasn't loads of potatoes in there. This is just like odd bits of potato that we didn't spot when we were emptying the buckets. So it just goes to show that, you know, when we do the single seed potato challenge, where we take one potato and we cut it up into about 9 different pieces and grow a plant from each, how that happens, because you only need a tiny little bit of potato for it to actually do that. So I think what we will do is we will harvest some of these strawberries. They're ready. So they're almost ready, and they don't want the slugs and the bugs to get to them. So leave that one. So there we go. First 2 strawberries. Let's go and check the other strawberry bed and see how many we've got in there. So So let's make our way over to the other strawberry bed, because I know we've got some more in there that we can harvest. We can get into the fruit case, that is. Not easy one-handed. Right, let's go in. It's feeling quite hot. I'm looking quite red. Let's have a look. Now this is our old strawberry bed, and let's have a quick look at what we've got in here. Look at this. Look, someone can see you through there. Someone has eaten all the way through that one. Damn cheek, full of holes. But hopefully there's some other ones on here that are all good. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. I'm going to have that one right now. There is nothing like a warm strawberry straight off the strawberry patch. Oh, look at the swing. Oh, there are no words that describe how nice that is. Right, there's quite a few here. Let's get a little pot. Right, I am back with my pot. Right, let's count these up. 1, 2, 3. So I lost count. There were about 4 which had been eaten, but we've got a nice big pot of strawberries, so we'll be having those for our tea. Absolutely splendid. That's our real first big harvest from the plot. Oh, just spotted another one. And there's a whole bunch more there, which I think in a few days' time, give it 3 or 4 days, we'll be able to pick those ones as well. And the other strawberry patch is just starting to come into its own, so we should be having nice strawberries for the next couple of weeks. Splendid. This is one of our new beds that we did earlier in the couple of videos ago when we got these Timu raised beds. So just going to create some furrows in here, because I'm going to plant up some lettuce leaves, just loose leaf lettuce. We've got plenty of still growing in the polytunnel, but as the weather gets increasingly hot, like the mustard did, it will start to bolt and go to flower. So we want to get some more started off in here, so we've got a little bit to follow on crop for when that stuff goes over. So we are going to create a few little furrows, and then we're going to just plant this straight from seed. We've used the other raised beds for putting like mini heads of lettuce in, so like little gems and stuff like that, and tom thumbs and a couple of icebergs. So I'm just going to, so in this first one, so that one down at that end is my favourite, which is the, so what's the, I can never say this. Wasabina, which is the mustard that's like, tastes a little bit like wasabi that you get with sushi. It's got a real mild taste to it, but it is lovely. It is my salad crop of the year. If there was, we were giving an award away, I would give that as a, although it's it's a mustard more than a salad, I suppose it's more than a lettuce type sort of leaf. Right. Next one across, in there we are going to be putting some, no, that wasn't that one. We're going to put some, that is Mizuna Red Street, which is also very nice. And then we're going to use the other ones here for a little bit of, let's get this out. We've got some Lola Rossa, which is things Lola Blonda, And then not the rocket, because we're bored of that one. And this is just a generalised lettuce salad bowl green, which is just a general mix. This is just from Premier Seeds Direct. That was part of the ones that we've already sown into we'd already sown in the polytunnel. Just going to get a few of those seeds, put those in there, and I'm going to put quite a few in because I'm quite happy if they all germinate, because we will just be picking and come sort of a pick. So this is our sort of pick and come again bed. I do like the Lola Rossa and Lola Blonda leaves, because they're the ones that are a little bit more frilly, and they just add a little bit of texture. I find it's a little bit of texture, so it's all right having the sort of like more salad bowl leaves, which are sort of like quite flat green leaves, but I do like the little crinkly texture of the Lola leaves. And then just put that straight in there. And put those in there. So that's all great. Ugh. Give that a good water. Give that a good watering in, and we'll find some mesh or something else to put over the top of there. So we are cracking through our list of jobs that we want to get done today. There's a couple of other things I want to get prepped as well. We've got one bed over in the background there that hasn't got a cover on it. I want to get a cover on that one, because that's where our kale is going, and that's still in the greenhouse at the moment, because it's still teeny weeny plants, because we planted it on quite late, but give it a couple of weeks, they'll be ready to go. So let's get the covers on those beds ready. And the other thing we need to do is get the nettles. So I'm gonna, even though it's a baking hot day, I'm gonna go and put a long sleeve coat on and grab the nettles. Right, so this is one of the most beneficial things you can do for your garden. All you need is a bucket with some water in it, some nettles. Now I did start this one off a couple of weeks ago, so I'm just topping it up with some more nettles, and you literally just chop them up. Now you could use the tops of the nettles for a nice nettle tea if you're inclined to do so. It's an acquired taste. I quite like it, and I drink quite a lot of nettle tea. I tend to actually just get the tea bags rather than harvest the nettles, because they're only around for certain times of the year, and also really if you're going to drink it for nettle tea, you should not use it once it's flowered, because it can contain lots more calcium, which isn't good for you if you've got arthritis and stuff. Not that I've got arthritis, but it's just not as good for you, and it's far easier just to get the tea bags. But yeah, you just chop this up into the bucket, and then just cover it with water, and then just leave it, and then it will just brew into a lovely. I'm just being really careful here with these nettles. I like to put a long jacket on, even though the sun's baking down. Now, I mean, what is it with nettles though? I mean, when I was a kid, no higher than a bunch of nettles, used to get stung by nettles, and you used to like, oh, just get a dock leaf, rub a dock leaf on it, off you go, and then half an hour later, you would have forgotten that you've actually been stung by one. Nowadays, if I get stung by a nettle, I like feel it all day and all into the evening, and potentially like into the next morning as well. I mean, I don't know what it is with age and nettles. It's just like once you get older, nettle stings just seem to linger for absolutely ages. I don't know if it's just me, so let me know in the comments if you find that actually as you've got older, nettle stings seem to be more difficult to cope with. So I certainly remember as a kid, I never remember like sort of you get stung by a nettle and it would hurt, but by the time you got home for tea, you'd almost forgotten about it. Whereas I just find that actually, you know, it doesn't hurt massively. It's just, you just feel that ache in your hands and occasionally tingle in your hands for a long time later. Oh, that's the problem with these. They flick back at you. You've got to be careful. Right, there we go. That's them all chopped up. Just put them down and push them down into the bucket of water. Now you can put like a weight or something in there if you want to. Now I do advise you doing this in a closed container that you can close up, and that is because, get your head in there, that absolutely stinks. I mean, it really does reek. We're just going to top that up with water so it's all covered. I mean, it's the type of smell that if you get it on you, or on your hands, or anything else, you will be smelling it for the rest of the day, because it does. It's like being at a sewage works, really. But it is good for your plants. So we'll put that over there, along with our other barrels. We keep our like about 4 on the go. We do nettle feed, and then we also do comfrey feed as well. So nettles really good for leafy plants. Comfrey feeds very good for sort of fruiting plants. I think that's the right way around. I will check and put it up on screen. Comfrey good for, nettles good for. Or you can mix the two, it doesn't really matter. It's good feed either way. And then when you do that, obviously it's just use like a small jug, little tiny cupful in each one of your watering cans when you water, and give them a feed, and that does your plants absolutely lovely. So it's a bit of time for a sit down and a juice. Still got plenty to do, and so I've got to do the netting, and I've got to get these beds covered up, and a bit of tidying up and around, and a bit of tidying up and weeding to do in the fruit cage, as well as getting on doing that spinach as well. But for the time being, I will wish you a good weekend and week ahead, and I hope the weather stays nice for you and you get all your jobs done. And I think we're due a good deal of rain coming over the next week or so. So that'll mean that at least you'll save yourself the time on the watering and just grab a little bit of time out on your plots and in your gardens between the showers. So until next time, cheerio. Cheers.